Hello. Let me just bring the camera up. Welcome to Office Hours, everyone. I hope you all had a great middle of the week. Today, I think it's Wednesday night now, Eastern Time, and it's actually 11 a.m. Singapore time for me on a Thursday morning. So, hope everyone had a good first half of the week and looking forward to the next half of the week. I just realized today, just now, that it's about 2 weeks to Christmas, and I haven't actually started my Christmas shopping. So I'm just a little bit nervous about this because I know there's going to be a lot of people in the malls with a mad rush for last minute Christmas shopping, and I'm just going to be one of them, and I'm not looking forward to that. I hope you all can see me and hear me okay. I see I've got some people that signed on but perhaps not logged into chat, so let me just type in to see if everything is okay. Just 1 minute. Right. Well, I hope the video and the sound is okay for everyone. In case you are new to Office Hours, I think this is a great chance for you to join in and listen in and ask any questions you might have regarding your career or your job search to any of the coaches that host these office hours. These are done regularly, I think 4 times a day, 5 days a week. And you can watch this live, come in and ask the questions. And if you've got a question, you just type in a comment or a question in brackets, and then the coach who's hosting it will answer it live for you. Alternatively, if you're not able to come on live, then you can actually watch the video recording of this at your own time as well. Okay, right. Let's see who I have on today. Okay, I guess not many people are signed in at this time of the day. So maybe what I'll do is that I'll just go on to the topic that I've planned for tonight. Let me just bring this up. The reason why I thought I think this is important at this time of the year is really to hope that all of us, all of you, get a chance to use the holidays to think through how we look at the topic or the issue or the process of actually managing our careers. Because I think when I've started coaching informally for about 10 years and as a profession in the last 8 months or so, I think the 9 out of 10 people that come and approach me regarding asking for help in their job search process, they're really much more focused on this thing, the issue of the right technique. Okay, so what I mean by right techniques is basically right, how do I write a good resume? How do I tidy up my LinkedIn profile? What are the networking techniques I need to use? Things like that. Or how do I write a good business plan in the case of a person who's worried about their own career performance? So they all really zoom down and on the right techniques. And in my mind, I think that is important, yes, but it's not the most important thing. I think to me it's a tip of the iceberg. And then when we start talking, a lot of people also realize the next bigger portion, in helping us effectively manage our careers is really also knowing the right people. So in other words, having the right networks, having the right contacts, how we develop our relationships with other people, and you couple this with the right techniques that it usually works. All right. Now, I think time to time, myself and other coaches on Career HMO have also talked about how we should also view the job search process. That means our attitude. But I think perhaps one of the things that drawbacks of mentioning this here and there is that a lot of people miss the whole point is that this really forms a foundation. Having the right mindset on the way we approach our careers, the way we approached our job search process. Having the right mindset is really critical to the whole thing, because without that, even if you have the right people, even you have a right technique, it's really not going to work as effectively. So, it's critical because of the following. I think number one, obviously, it forms the foundation of everything we do. It's really gives us a post in the ground to say, okay, if I have a difficulty in this, how do I react? How do I solve the problem? And it really helps us to give a clear direction. When we have self-doubt or when we are uncertain about a certain situation, it really helps us to proceed in the right manner. Okay. And I think by having the right attitude, the right mindset as well, it really opens up our eyes, really opens up our beliefs, and really gives us alternatives to what we are trying to do and what we're trying to see. Okay, to me, I think that's a very valuable outcome of this, because then we are not closed and down one path. And if we are more open, we actually are more open to actually receiving what I call our aha moments as well. Okay. Then once we have the right mindset, it really then gives you and forces you to go and find the right solution that's right for you. Okay, so I think this is really important, and what I'm going to go through with you are three thought triggers. And I think some of you have probably heard this before mentioned by coaches here and there, but what I want to do is really to put it down right in front, right up front, for everyone here who's watching this, and to really emphasize how important this is. Now, these three thought triggers are not mutually exclusive. In other words, they are not sitting in a silo, in a box where they're not related to each other. They're all integrated, and I feel that they all work very well and support each other in terms of creating a total view and attitude of how you should be looking at managing your career and managing your job search process. Okay, so let me start with the first one first. I think you've seen this before. The coaches in Career HMO have mentioned this before, and then we've talked about this in a video tutorial as well. But just want to bring it up. This notion that every job is temporary. Okay. Now, what does this mean? It basically means that it manages our expectations of our job. Okay. We should not expect a job to be permanent, right? We should we should view that not everything is under our control. Many changes are outside of our control, which then leads to us being able to better manage our level of stress, our level of emotional despair when we find that we're in trouble in our jobs. Okay, so when we realize that this notion that every job is temporary, then we become more inclined to be prepared for any exigency that may come, that we may face. So what do I mean by being prepared? Essentially, we want to be prepared even while we still have the job. We're still on the job. We need to be prepared. And many people approach this preparation in a very different way. But I just want to summarize a few points that you can use to actually being prepared. And these are the few. I think some people look at being prepared as sourcing for other sources of income. I think this is really great. I think a lot of us have heard about having passive income, having alternative sources of income. So that's one area of being prepared. I think the other part is really looking at your own relationships with other people, your networks, right? Start cultivating relationships so that you can call upon them for referrals, to ask for opportunities that may come up later on. I think the next bit is really also making sure you're prepared by developing your transferable skills, right? I think to me, having a good set of transferable skills means that you are more open to different types of opportunities that may come your way. Clearly knowing what your transferable skills are allows you to then better communicate what you can do in other situations as well, and also presents you in a very different position to the potential hirer or company that you may want to join. Okay, and obviously the last, but I think one of the more important aspects is really being prepared about what you stand for in the marketplace, your reputation, your personal brand. So start developing all this so that people know what you are all about, right? Now, once you are prepared and once you realize that nothing is permanent, then it really sort of removes the fear of losing your job from the things that you do. Now, I'm sure we've all been in discussions, in meetings where you've come across people who are so afraid of voicing their opinion, so afraid of participating in a meeting, maybe because they're just afraid that whatever they say may not be taken positively, and there may be repercussions on their jobs. Now, if you flip it the other way around, I mean, if you remove this fear of losing your job, what happens next is that then you are more open to actually actively contributing ideas, actively being participating, suggesting ideas, being proactive, because I think you have more belief in yourself, and you are more proactive in terms of trying to do new things. And I think a lot of the time, supervisors, bosses tend to look at this in a very positive way. So, by removing the fear of losing your job, you actually has the opposite effect of actually reinforcing your own status within the job itself. Okay. And then the other thing is also, once you have inner confidence about yourself and you're prepared, then you really look at your self-worth as being detached from the thing that you do in your job. You very quickly realize that your own self-worth is actually a lot more than your job itself. Now, I think this aspect is really, really important, because too many times I've seen my clients come to me when they talk about their own core values. There's this conflict that they want to carry on with the work, but then they also value their self-worth, and they also value their family life, and there's this conflict. And then when I talk to them more about it and get down to the root of the whole thing, a lot of the time they feel that if they lose their job, their identity is lost as well. So I think we want to get away from this, and really believe that what we do, what we are as a person, is actually a lot more than just the job that we are doing. Okay. Right. The next point here is this one, the business of one. We are in the business of one. Again, you've heard this before, talked by JT, talked by a lot of people in Career HMO, and I'm sure among other coaches as well. But I think, again, it's worthwhile to emphasize here. Okay. If we believe in the fact that we are in a business of one, then we believe in the notion that we are responsible for driving our own careers. You're responsible for creating our own destiny. Right? I like this. I use this phrase. It's my own personal mantra. Take charge, take control. Right? We are in control of our destiny. We should be responsible for what we do. Right? Nobody else is responsible for our careers, especially not the organization that we are currently working in. Okay. So what happens when we look at ourselves as a business? It basically means that it's in our personal interest then to ensure that what we do has longevity, what we do can be sustained, right? And by looking at that, by wanting to ensure these two aspects, then we very naturally then come to the notion that we need a plan. Okay, we need to craft a plan on what our career plan is, and I've done a session on that as well. And I think what's important here is that in that plan, it's not set in stone. We need to also be flexible enough to adapt and tweak the plan to the situation that may crop up later on. So once we develop a plan, we also review the plan and tweak it accordingly. And by having a plan, we also look at what I call the ROIs. Okay, what are our returns on investment? What do we get when we devote a certain amount of resource into our activity, right? So when we are planning, I've always liked to see certain elements in a plan, and I think one of this is this: looking inward, knowing what we are, trying to know what we are known for, what we are best at, really looking at what our core values are, and establishing our own goals as well. So that's looking internally at ourselves in the plan. The next part is really looking at outside. Okay, and I think looking at what we do and how we can fulfill a market need. Okay, and by looking at how we can fulfill a market need, then it goes down to all the other different areas on how we market ourselves, how we deliver what our solution. Okay, and then I think one important aspect here, which a lot of people miss out here, is that once we know all this, then what should we be pricing ourselves at? Okay, when I say pricing ourselves, it could be salary, it could be a contract. When we do a contract work. So, look at then what's our value. Okay. And I think this last point is also very, very important, and a lot of people put it as a afterthought. I would like to sort of put it right in front of the plan as well. How can we continually improve? Now, if you look at all the good organizations like Apple and all that, they continuously improve by bringing out new products to meet either the markets, or if they're really confident enough to create a product or a service that actually molds the market, okay, changes the market. Okay? So I think being in business for one, then we should also really continuously look at how we can improve, or we can introduce new things that will help other people as well. Okay, so these are the key things to me, some of the key elements of what we should do when we are looking at ourselves as a business of one. All right. Now this one, again, it's been spoken, but I feel that sometimes it gets lost in translation. I think we need, instead of focusing on ourselves as job seekers and positioning ourselves as job seekers, how about positioning ourselves as problem solvers? Look at how much more impactful it is to the company or to yourself when you you put yourself forward as someone who solves problems for other people. All right. What does this mean? It basically means that we have value. Okay. We have skills, we have experiences that other people place a value on. Other people would want this as well. Okay, so it's a very different way of approaching it. If you position yourself as a job seeker, then you are putting the value proposition to the potential employer, to the organization, not to yourself. You are asking value from them to hire you. If you're looking yourself as a problem solver, then you are approaching them saying you can help them with a problem. Okay, you have the value. All right, so the power is in your hands now. Right, and I always find that when you think about yourself as a problem solver, then really, if you look at it really carefully, you are not then bound by how old you are or how young you are. You're not bound by whether you're really experienced or whether inexperienced or whatever, because we always look at what are the problems out there, how can we help solve the problem. And you can be a really young person, really fresh out of graduate school, for example, but you have the right mindset and the skills and say, hey, I can solve that problem. Or if you are really a mature worker, long time in the workforce, and you feel that you feel concerned that you're out of date, but you have the experience, and you say, okay, this company has got a situation where they have a lot of high staff turnover. You can go in and say, I have the necessary experience to help you solve that problem. So, position yourself as a problem solver, and really this really removes any a notion of age or notion of lack of experience. Okay. And when you look at yourself as a problem solver, then really it opens up a lot of different alternatives to providing solutions. I think all of us, when I speak to a lot of my clients, I think one of the main things that they're looking for is they want a full-time job. But when I start talking to them and asking them to think about themselves as a problem solver, their minds are open to all other different ways of providing a solution. So it could be, positioning themselves as a contract worker, positioning themselves as a consultant. Obviously, the full-time option is there as well. But what about freelancing? Okay, I think in the last week or two, I've been reading a lot of new articles on the web concerning the increasing importance of freelancing, and the suggestion and notion that freelancing should be the new norm, especially among millennials, right? So, I think this really opens up to a whole different world of seeing how we as a solution provider, a problem solver, can go out and present our services to the companies or the organizations, right? Now, when we then tune our minds to being a problem solver, then it really then gives us a very strong level of confidence, because we are confident that we have the skills, we have the experiences to be able to solve that problem. And because we have the confidence, then the negotiating power is in our hands, right? Because we know that the people want what we have. We have value to the other party. So it gives us a confidence in negotiating, let's say, a contract, how you should price yourself. It comes down to the pricing. it gives us a negotiation power about even our salary. Obviously, I'm not suggesting we be brash about the whole thing, but at least internally we have confidence to say, hey, we have a certain value. We should not be short selling ourselves when we grab an opportunity. Okay, so those to me are the three key factors, three key thought triggers I think we all should be having when we look at going about searching for a job, or even if we are not searching for a job, when we are already working in an organization. This is also really, really helpful in the way we perform on the job as well. So, by all means, if you want, either you memorize this, these three points, think about it every day, or if you want, you print this out, type it on a piece of paper, print it out, pin it on the wall in front of the mirror of you. Every day you wake up, you take a look at that, and it sort of sinks into your head. I think one thing here is that don't expect this to be an overnight absorption of the thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of my clients tend to take some time to let this sink in. Obviously, when I talk to them initially, they see all these points, they understand, they appreciate, and they fully accept it. But then when it comes down to action, it takes a little bit of time to actually absorb it and internalize this whole thing that is actually demonstrated in your actions. So I think don't be too disheartened if your actions are still not incorporating all these what I call thought triggers. I mean, in a sense, it could be a value for yourself as well. But continuously remember this. Continuously have this at the back of your mind, and then I think eventually you'll be able to demonstrate these things in the activities that you pursue, in the way you pursue your job, and in the way you perform on your job as well. Okay, right. That's all I have. I don't see any questions coming on stream in the chat box. But I hope it's been useful for you, and that you are able to take these things away and really absorb it and internalize it. And I really truly believe that it will help you in what you're trying to do in your career, as I've seen it help my own clients as well. So if you wish to drop me an email or connect up on LinkedIn, here is my email address and my LinkedIn profile. By all means, do so. And for those of you who are still on the $9 subscription, which is a very useful way, allows you to look at over 200 hours of video tutorials. It allows you the opportunity to come on and view videos such as this, or participate in office hours. By all means, do seriously consider going and subscribing onto the going onto the $45 email subscription, where you have the opportunity to actually engage a coach one-on-one. Now, nowhere else, I believe nowhere else, you are able to do that on a one-on-one basis with a coach in such a real cost-effective manner. So I think it's a really very strong value proposition for you. Okay, so if there's nothing else, and I hope that this session has been useful for you, and you have a great rest of the week, and the weekend is coming as well. I hope you avoid the crowds, or maybe you enjoy the crowds. I don't know. It's a festive period out there. You manage to do all your Christmas shopping, meet up with friends and family this period. I hope you don't catch a cold. I know it's in winter time in a lot of places. I hope you don't catch a cold. I actually got a cold right now. I've got a bad sore throat. But I hope that I'll be better in time for the festive period. If I don't hear from you for the rest of this week, I hope to catch you in my next office hour session in a week's time, which incidentally will be my last one for the year, as I'll be off on my holidays for the last 2 weeks of December. But if I don't catch you during that period as well, then I'd like to wish everyone here a Merry Christmas and a great New Year, and see you in 2016. Okay, but I hope to see you next week as well. Okay, right, cheers, bye-bye.